of course, also revealing finer details of the last moment engagement with the former premier in terms of just what he wanted for this country. He says the former premier, again in his true element, was worried about this country's position as a third world country, and one of the resolve they had actually made together with the president and the former president Uhuru Kenyatta was to find ways of ensuring that they moved this country from third world state to a better position. And he says part of the issues they had actually discussed on was infrastructure development and general development of the country. And he says that the former premier had actually sought the services of a former of a renowned professor, Japanese professor, who was to come and find a solution in terms of giving a structured steps of how the leaders and of course the government would actually find ways of ensuring that indeed this government, this country moved from its current state to a better state. President William Ruto also revealing that indeed that is a commitment he undertook to ensure that indeed is actualized. And key amongst the issues that they had actually discussed, he says, was the extension of the SGR from Naivasha all the way to Siaya and all the way to Malaba. He also says that the dueling of Rironi, the dueling of the road from Rironi all the way to Eldoret and to Malaba, and of course also ensuring that it passes through Kericho all the way to Busia. Those were some of the highlights of the discussions, just to ensure that indeed the vision and the desires of the former premier were actually met in terms of ensuring that indeed this country moved to the next step. But one of the things that have actually been discussed here is the need to keep the country first. Each and every leader has spoken to what the former premier believed in, and even the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Masika Waitangula, saying that after they lost the 2017 general poll, and he thought that everything was actually lost. South Africa for a week, and he says that the message that constantly came from the former premier was about the need to ensure that indeed this country remained united, this country remained stable, that indeed he says that the country, the unity of the country superseded any other interest, according to Raila Amolo Odinga. Of course, we also heard from the family members who have told us who exactly Raila was from his childhood up until what we've actually had to see as Kenyans. The brother Oburu Odinga saying that they were very close in terms of just growing up together, very close association and everything. They were very close. But one thing that he remembers about Raila Amolo Odinga was his commitment to education. The other thing that he remembers about Raila Amolo Odinga was the fact that Raila Odinga, at a very tender age, didn't like injustices. He started showing from that tender age that injustice was not something that he would actually tolerate. And he cited an example where a teacher actually punished the former premier, and as was the tradition then, they expected that, of course, the former premier will stand up and say thank you, but he said, or salute the punishing teacher. But of course, that did not happen, and he said that will not happen. That, of course, was also corroborated by his sister Ruth Odinga and many other leaders who actually spoke, just speaking to what the former premier believed in. Of course, the procession now is heading to the former premier, to the home of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, where the former premier will actually be laid to rest. He's actually going to be laid to rest next to his father's grave at Kango Ka Jaramogi. So So I will hand over to my colleague Doreen Arange in studio. So then, of course, he takes over before we get to Kango Kajaramogi, and of course my colleague Wycliffe Okech, who is actually standing by in Kango Kajaramogi, will ensure that indeed we can actually find the best pictures and the best moments of what exactly will be going on at Kango Kajaramogi. Back to you, Doreen Arange.
Magora lambo wendo makolimo di gimbo yudo emo falo chalo koda uka ogalagala magoro kalausi aworo magoro limo Kajaramogi mokwanyo woda juma gino litnayo arangolo kachane no kanya motimo gode mirima pena nango motimore obonyoe Magule mangeza koloro wangichieng no bonyo ikietu kanda penye negilich Hey, wololore joy etinende joy mayore joy jodala buije joy wololore joy etinende joy mayore joy buinge wololore joy
Nyikwara buinge
joy
wamiel gipiny
joy olo buinge wololore joy tinende joy mayore joy oh oda elaywa kubudu gingani Oh, DJ weka hiyo ya Raila Odinga. Tuko na ngoma ya Raila Odinga, wacha iwekwe hapa tu dance kidogo. Waywa guru jako mogi ka kwa uko do mieluru bondes disco matanga.
Aya waweruru wa mieluru. Wapara kwambo wonya lego. Tinga.
Hello nyonurulo lo nyonurulo lo nyonurulo hello nyonurulo ane waloruru stage obeduru gi order
Nyikwara mogia juang akwayo ugikwe ni waloruru stage
obeduru gi order matin waloruru stage mondo wamiel
wabeduru gi order nyikwara mogia juang waloruru stage wabeduru gi order wawinjore wamiuru Costa Ojwang na
waloruru mondo wamiel uru maber kawuone ma wan go kende
wabeduru gi order wawe stage akwayo ugikwe akwayo ugimuolo Wawe uru stage ne Costa mondo konywa. Wawe uru stage. Ero uru kamano kuom winjo. Ero uru kamano. Wawe uru stage. Security konya uru. Aya DJ. wawe uru stage. Ero uru kamano DJ.